This is a free sample of the book How to Talk to 9's and 10's by Cairo Copeland. The first half of the book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest of it, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/talk. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/talk.
Chapter 3. The fastest way to find out if she likes you. Indirect allure is so appealing to guys because it protects their egos. If the woman rejects you while you're trying to chat her up about dogs, it's not that she doesn't want you, it's because she doesn't want to talk about dogs. But what's forgotten about that is that the opposite is also true. If she does give you her time of day and talks to you, it's because they do want to talk about dogs, nothing to do with you. Either way, she just isn't into you. Further, imagine if she thought you were a hot guy and was excited you were coming to talk to her, but then found out you just wanted to talk about her shoes. Instant turn off for her. Even if it works well enough to get you a phone number out of the interaction, it only sets you up for being her male girlfriend or an orbiting simp. Attempting to talk to women without the chance of being judged is just not possible. You need to just embrace the judgment and go direct. Direct allure can either go very well or very wrong, and it goes either direction quickly. While many guys are afraid to do it for that reason, that's precisely the reason to do it. Being direct saves you time. Do not fall for the foolish thinking that being direct will either turn off a woman that would have otherwise been into you. Either they are or they are not. No amount of time spent with them making indirect attempts to allure them will change that. They make up their minds very quickly about whether you are a guy she'd like to get with. There are, however, some times where direct would have worked, but it was done badly, so it did not. Then the guys come to the false conclusion that direct, in general, is just an all-around bad idea. They think it's too pushy. So what is direct allure done right? What's necessary is having a standard form you can rely on to adapt to the situation that you're in, whatever it is. So you should have a rough idea of what you'll say. That way, there is no anxiety to cause hesitation. Then you can open with a new woman whenever you see one. It's vital to have a solid process that you'll follow in a disciplined manner. It doesn't mean you don't ever make changes to it. That's the point of having a planned process to make changes. The idea is that it will have structural components that can be refined or improved upon after receiving feedback from each time it's used. Let's begin by looking at the PUAs and what they had. Their direct approaches were often a 4-component process. Number 1, ground. This is where they start out the opening by saying, "Hi, I saw you over here." Number 2, compliment. They continue on once they realize they have her attention and say something like, "And I've got to say, I really like your hair, or your style, think you're beautiful, etc." Number 3, interesting and specific words. They may craft the compliments to sound a little more interesting and catered specifically to her. Instead of, "You look nice" or "cute," they may say, "She looks striking." And instead of just giving her a generic compliment like her overall appearance is beautiful, they'll highlight something specific like a streak in her hair or a certain tattoo. Number 4, introduce. She probably doesn't know what to say after hearing all that because this likely doesn't happen to her this way. Sure, she gets hit on a lot, but hit on in a very bad, unattractive way by thirsty guys. Now, her breath is literally taken away. So the next move is to take the burden off her by introducing yourself. Ideally, you want to make her feel special with whatever it is you are highlighting about her. What is it that made you break the social barrier and come to the conclusion that you just had to talk to her? A woman wants to feel admired and appreciated for something unique to her. That's the theory behind why this technique worked. But in today's world, she's complimented all the damn time. Online thirsty simps shower her with comments on her pictures and fill her DMs with flirtations that tell her she's just so wonderful. So what really makes the direct approach work is that it lets her know right away that you like her and have no shame in saying so. A devil-may-care attitude. When a man approaches a woman and tells her his intentions right off the bat, but says so in a way that indicates he has zero shame, nervousness, or stutter stepping to say so, that's what stands out to her. She may have been approached by nervous guys who probably haven't had much experience with it. This was evident by their actions. But what sells you to her is when you approach her so confidently that it gives her the idea. You're used to having an approach result in a phone number or a date. You're used to getting what you want by asking for it. This is a form of pre-selection. She figures you're only so confident in your direct approach because you've done it on other women and have gotten them as a result. That means other women approved of you and therefore she should as well. All these components are great. But today's world has changed dramatically with the simp pandemic on social media that has basically made every compliment you could make to a woman meaningless, because it's probably the 50th one she's heard that day. Having a canned opener ready to go is seen right through. Women have a way of noticing if a line you say is one you came up with on the spot or is one you've stolen from someone else and have practiced it. Plus, there just isn't any magic opener that is better than all the others. The majority of your success in delivering a direct opener comes from your body language and delivery displaying extremely high confidence in yourself. But perhaps the best line you could use that is 100% direct and doesn't have you complimenting her like a simp is the question, are you single? This keeps you equal with her in the interaction. You don't pedestalize her by complimenting her when you ask her this, but you make it very clear what your interest in her is and why you want to talk to her. Plus, you find out right away if she has any interest in you at all. If she's not single, she'll definitely say so. If she's single and not interested, she'll say she's not single, which is fine because you don't want to be wasting time on a woman that's not interested any more than you want to waste time on a woman that's not available. But on that note, not every woman who says she's not single is both unavailable and disinterested in you. Sometimes they will say they are taken just because it's a reflex of theirs that has developed in this new age of social media simps. You must pay attention to her body language and the way she says it to know if she's being truthful or just saying that as an automatic defense mechanism. If it seems that she does want to keep talking to you and doesn't look for an excuse to go away, you can proceed as if she never mentioned a boyfriend. In fact, make the words, "I have a boyfriend," completely meaningless to your mind. Sometimes she just needs more information about you to know that you're not a creep. But if she later on states that again, that she has a boyfriend, your best move is to use the boyfriend destroyer tactic, revealed in the objections chapter at the end of this book. Further, a line like this, "Are you single?" hardly leads to a harsh rejection that one would take personally. She's not saying, "Ew, get away from me, you fucking creep." She's just answering a question about her relationship status. The rejection has nothing to do with you, so it isn't one that's going to hurt like hell to hear. Barely a diss. Best of all, you found out as early as possible to keep it from hurting. Some guys may still be afraid to do this, for it is quite a bold tactic. But knowledge is the enemy of fear. If you knew what she might say if you asked, wouldn't that make it easier to ask it? Well, there are 4 possible responses from her that you can anticipate. They are: 1, she tells you that she's single. That's a green light. 2, she asks you why you're asking. Now you've successfully opened her and can continue a conversation. Whatever is your reason for telling her why you asked, you must remember to say it so confidently as to convey the idea that you have no shame, nervousness, or hesitation to say. 3, she tells you that she's not single but doesn't walk away, so she's curious about you and you can get a conversation going with her. 4, she tells you that she's not single and walks away. This may be a rejection, but it's barely a rough one. To ask her if she's single is not needy or thirsty sounding at all. The most important thing is how you ask it, because that's the only thing that can make you sound needy and thirsty. Also, it shows respect to her by not wasting her time. Remember that random guy conversation in the introduction? This prevents you from being like that because it tells them why you are there talking to her. You can give a reinvented, alluring man the shittiest opener, and he will use his charm and experience from many past cold approaches to compensate for the ineffectiveness of the opener. That man will have more success with it than the simp with no experience who's using the most carefully crafted opener. So let's modify that old PUA approach. Number 1, ground. No changes to this part. We'll just say, "Hi, I saw you over here." Number 2, highlight. We don't compliment her on her beauty. You want to appear immune to it, or otherwise unimpressed by it. Instead, you highlight something else, like an item she's wearing, a tattoo she's bearing, or something she's carrying. We'd continue to say, "And I just had to come get a closer look at this remarkable earring, tattoo, puppy, whatever." 3, interesting and specific words. We want to keep this component as well. Use original language rather than generic. Her necklace or whatever you're highlighting is remarkable, noteworthy, or extraordinary, not just nice or cool or pretty. 4, introduce. As you're delivering the highlight, look right into her eyes and have your facial expression convey that you are more attracted to what you are seeing now close up than you thought you would be from afar. It's important you make this expression only when looking her in the eye, to give her the idea that it is her soul behind her eyes that is attracting you. Then, introduce yourself. 5, take her hand. Hold out your hand as you're introducing yourself. If I were doing this, I'd say, "I'm Cairo," and hold out my hand. She'll likely give me her hand while responding with her name. She'll say something like, "I'm Sarah." So you take it, and you give it a firm grip, and continue looking her in the eyes as you reply with, "Sarah? Nice to meet you, Sarah." You see, her name is the sweetest sound that she likes hearing the most. And now you've associated that sound that makes her happy with your touch and your eye contact. 6, ask the question. Now, at this high point, ask her, "Are you single?" This routine works best in daytime situations because there's no social context that otherwise encourages a random guy talking to a woman that he doesn't know. However, it can also be done in the usual bars and clubs, provided that the music isn't blaring so loud that you can't hear each other. So how do you know who to use it on? Many coaching clients wanted to only pull this approach on someone they knew it would work on. They were expending so much energy making themselves look and sound confident that they would have none left to pick themselves back up if they got rejected. In other words, they wanted to play it safe, which defeats the whole point of going direct. However, there are some women that will give indications of interest. Things like eye contact and smiling at someone are never accidental. I mean, if a fat, ugly woman looked at you and you could see from the corner of your eye, you'd make damn sure you didn't return it. The point is, when someone does this, they hope to be seen doing it. These occurrences will be very rare, but they do happen. You want to jump right on them with this direct approach. If not, you're pissing away a golden opportunity to do a direct opener and have it well received. If you see a woman looking around the room, paying attention to when someone comes in, she's looking to be opened as well. When you're on the prowl, you're looking around a lot, trying to find a good female to get with. They are no different. The point is that they aren't so deep into what they're doing that they leave no room for a stranger to interject. If they look too deep into what they're doing, then it's a bad idea to open them with this direct approach. The innocent opener would be a better tactic to use in those situations, especially if she has her earbuds in. And do not wait for women that are giving you indications of interest to use this. Use it on the ones you're interested in. That's the whole reason we learn allure, to go after women we're interested in and otherwise wouldn't be able to get without knowing the craft. More importantly, what really separates direct allure from indirect is that with direct, you are playing to win, as opposed to indirect where you are playing not to lose. Play to win.
Thank you for listening to this free sample of the book, How to Talk to 9's and 10's by Cairo Copeland. If you enjoyed it and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/talk, where the book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/talk.